Hello friends and welcome to my channel, Psych Degree. This video is on the topic of, is psychology a science? This is a question that has been debated for many years, and it's still a hot topic today. Some people argue that psychology is a science, while others say it's not. In this video, we'll take a closer look at this question and explore the reasons why some people believe psychology is a science, and why others do not. Before we start the video, please like, share, subscribe and comment. Let us begin now. Before we dive into the debate about psychology and science, let's define what science is. For this, let's look at, what is science? Science is a systematic and logical approach to discovering how the world works. It's based on empirical evidence, which means it's grounded in data and observations rather than speculation or intuition. Science also relies on a set of principles, such as the scientific method, to guide its investigations. Let's talk about psychology now. What is psychology? Psychology is the scientific study of human behavior and mental processes. Psychologists use a variety of research methods to understand why people behave the way they do, and how they think, feel, and perceive the world around them. Some of the research methods used in psychology include experiments, surveys, observational studies, and case studies. Now, we know both definitions of science and psychology. Let's discuss about why some people believe psychology is a science. Well, there are several reasons why some people believe psychology is a science. First, psychology is based on empirical evidence. Psychologists use scientific methods to collect data, which they then analyze to draw conclusions about human behavior and mental processes. In psychology, researchers use a variety of methods to collect data, such as experiments, surveys, case studies, and observational studies. This reliance on empirical evidence is similar to other sciences, such as physics or biology. For instance, in an experimental study, a researcher may manipulate an independent variable to observe its effect on a dependent variable. By manipulating variables and observing their effects, psychologists can establish cause and effect relationships between different variables. The use of empirical evidence sets psychology apart from non-scientific approaches to understanding human behavior, such as intuition or personal experience. While intuition and personal experience can be valuable sources of insight, they are not reliable methods for drawing scientific conclusions. Second, psychology has a set of principles and theories that guide its investigations. These principles and theories help psychologists to make sense of their observations and develop hypotheses to test. For example, the theory of classical conditioning explains how people learn to associate two stimuli, such as a bell and food, and the principles of operant conditioning describe how people's behavior can be modified by rewards and punishments. Likewise, in psychology, there are several well-established principles and theories that explain human behavior and mental processes. Social learning theory suggests that people learn through observation and modeling of others' behavior. These theories and principles provide a framework for psychologists to understand and make predictions about human behavior. They also help researchers to develop hypotheses that can be tested using empirical evidence. Third, psychology is a rigorous field of study that requires extensive training and education. To become a licensed psychologist, one must complete a graduate program in psychology, accumulate supervised experience, and pass a licensing exam. This level of training and education is similar to other scientific fields, such as medicine or physics. Psychologists are also trained in research methods and statistical analysis. They must be able to design experiments, collect data, and analyze the results in a rigorous and systematic way. This training ensures that psychologists are equipped with the knowledge and skills needed to conduct high-quality research. Now, let us explore the arguments against psychology as a science. While there are many reasons to consider psychology as a science, there are also some criticisms of the field. Let's take a closer look at some of the arguments against psychology as a science. Why some people believe psychology is not a science. First, one of the main criticisms of psychology is that it relies on subjective data. Unlike other sciences, psychology often deals with concepts that are difficult to quantify, such as emotions, thoughts, and feelings. This subjectivity can lead to bias and inconsistencies in data collection and analysis. One of the main criticisms of psychology is that it relies on subjective data. For instance, if a researcher is studying the effect of a new drug on depression, they may ask participants to rate their mood on a scale of 1 to 10. However, different participants may have different ideas about what depression means or how to rate their mood. This subjectivity can make it difficult to draw meaningful conclusions from the data. Second, psychology lacks a unifying theory or set of principles. While there are several theories and principles in psychology, they are often fragmented and not well integrated. This can make it difficult for psychologists to build upon previous research and make significant advancements in the field. For instance, there are several different theories of motivation in psychology, including Maslow's hierarchy of needs, drive theory, and self-determination theory. These theories provide different explanations for why people behave the way they do and do not always agree with each other. This lack of a unifying theory can make it challenging for researchers to integrate and synthesize findings from different studies. Third, replication issues. Replication is an essential part of the scientific method, as it allows other researchers to verify the findings of a study. However, there have been concerns about the replicability of psychological research. In some cases, studies that were considered groundbreaking and influential were later found to be difficult or impossible to replicate. For instance, a 2015 study published in the journal Science found that only 36% of psychological studies could be replicated. This has led some critics to question the validity and reliability of psychological research. Fourth, ethical concerns. Another issue that some critics raise is that psychological research can raise ethical concerns. For example, in some experiments, researchers may manipulate participants' emotions or behaviors to study the effects of different variables. This can raise questions about whether the potential benefits of the research outweigh the risks to participants. Additionally, some critics argue that psychology has been used to justify harmful practices, such as eugenics, which sought to improve the genetic quality of the human population by selectively breeding individuals with desirable traits. While eugenics is now widely discredited, it is an example of how scientific findings can be used to support harmful ideologies. Finally, some people argue that psychology is too focused on individual differences and cannot be generalized to the broader population. Unlike other sciences, psychology often relies on case studies or small sample sizes, which may not accurately represent the general population. This can limit the applicability of psychological research to real-world situations. In conclusion, while there are valid arguments both for and against the notion that psychology is a science, the consensus in the field is that it is indeed a scientific discipline. Psychology relies on empirical evidence, has established principles and theories, and requires rigorous training and education. While there are certainly challenges and criticisms of psychological research, these are not unique to psychology and are common to many scientific fields. By continuing to address these concerns and striving to improve the quality and rigor of research, psychologists can continue to make meaningful contributions to our understanding of human behavior and mental processes. As a field, psychology is constantly evolving and adapting to new challenges and opportunities. Whether it is through new research methods, advances in technology, or collaborations with other fields, psychologists will continue to push the boundaries of our knowledge and understanding of the human mind. Well, that's it, friends, for this video. Hope it is informative. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe.